Good evening, I'm Oral Gibbes, and welcome to Oral Gibbes Live. And this evening we have a new political party. Well, they were here early in the year, but they are lucky because they're one of the ones that made it today. And we have the president and founder and the #1 candidate on the St. Martin Development Movement, Mr. Ortega, right?
That's right, Mr. Gibbes.
You made it.
Made it.
For 191?
191, strong signatures.
All right, and also with us this evening we have Mr. Bute. Mr. Bute, you're #2, right?
Yes. Good night.
Good to have both of you in the program this evening.
Very much.
Good to have us, yeah. Thank you.
So now that you've made it, I think there's only one political party, based on the information I just received, that still might have a chance to have to go back and maybe make it. I think they got 66.
Something in that range,
right,
correct.
Yeah. But
correct.
you're happy, you both are happy.
Yes,
right?
we are very happy.
Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah. No, so it's all eyes are on September 26th, and I know you was here before,
That's correct.
and I don't know if you want to introduce your #2, give you that opportunity because people know you already.
Yes, yes. Well, I'm hoping that everyone knows me by now. Benjamin Ortega, formerly known as also as Benny. I have next to me a very strong gentleman. And being a new political party does not mean that we are a young political party. And my #2, my deputy, as I like to call him at times, Mr. Fax, comes with a wealth of knowledge. He's a grandfather, a father, a husband, and you know, it's just general to say that he's a good man. Good man for our list, a good person for St. Martin. I give you no other than Arthur Bute.
Thank you. Thank you to my leader. Thank you. Good night, Oral, and to your listeners and viewers. I decided to join the St. Martin Development Movement for several reasons. And one of the main reasons is that when Mr. Benjamin Ortega asked me, and when he explained me his motive, and seeing the situation that the country was going in, and his line that he came with, that the status quo must go, I said I was ready for it. Because what's happening in St. Martin, we have to move on now to a better St. Martin. We knew St. Martin. When I came to live in St. Martin was the Mecca of the Caribbean, the place that everybody looked to, and now it's a place that everybody laughed about. We have to change that. Not only for us, we have to change it for our kids, we have to change it for our grandkids, we have to change it for the youth. We have to make this place as good as we had it for them.
So you come from a business background, too. Maybe you want to tell us a little bit about your...
Yeah, I'm an immigration and labor consultant, and I was also member of the Social Economic Council of Netherlands, Antilles, representing St. Martin through the Chamber of Commerce. I was chairman of the president of the Chamber of Commerce. I was also one of the founding members of the Social Economic Council of St. Martin, and also chairman of the Social Economic Council of St. Martin. As you know, the Social Economic Council, we prepare advices for the different ministers. Any law that have needs, that have a social economic impact on a society, we make that advice. We let the minister or who it may be who want that advice to know, to see what the social economic impact would be of that particular law, a project, or anything they want to do. So you get a wealth of knowledge doing these things, and you understand how the whole system works.
Okay. So at least you fully aware of business. Are you optimistic for this island? Because you know a lot of people sit back and they see what's happening right now, the budgetary problems, the CFT. We hear about many business having to struggle over the last year. How you feel about St. Martin today as a businessman and knowing what we've gone through all these years?
Over the years, we were so fortunate that after 2008 and all the financial problem there was in the United States, even though it had a heavy impact on a lot of the islands in the Caribbean, right. St. Martin were fortunate that the economic activity did not dip so much. You know, we still remain just above 0% or sometimes, 0.5% growth, but we was just there. But our leaders have not created any new development, any new economic development for the island. And that's what's lacking, because you're supposed to make that new step for more economic development, which create business. And that was not being done, is not happening, or have not been done since 2010, since we became country. So that is what business people are looking for. More economic development, so you create more business automatically.
So, Mr. Ortega, that's why you name your party the Samoan Development Movement?
That's one of the reasons, yes. That's one of the reasons that we went in, you know, I think I mentioned it last time I was here, Mr. Gibbes. I don't like to call ourselves a party. You know, normally it's a political party, but I think our party days are done. It's time to move the country in the right direction. It's time to get serious. It's time to start working for the people. Moving, and what the meaning of a movement is far beyond what we, as two candidates on the Samoan Development Movement slate, represents. Having a movement is actually everyone, our members in the background. And whether we're there or not, elected or not, the movement will continue, because that is one thing that we said we was going to do, and I must be so proud. I'm so happy to say that it has been successful thus far. It's been successful also with the 191 signatures that we received with the district representation, Mr. Gibbes. The district representation is really what St. Martin and St. Martin people are about. When you go to the communities and you sit and you speak, you know, under the tamarind tree sitting, that is district representation. When you're able to have a conversation, whether it's playing a dominoes, ballot cards, or just having a good talk about honest governing. And then the people get the opportunity to reflect back what they think. So it's not only me or any of my candidates standing on any grandstand stage and saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, and we're going to do all this, and we're going to bring this for you. No, it is sitting with them and listening primarily to what they have to say. And we have been listening. We are also saying what we are going to do. We also have our ideas. We also have our plans. But primarily, we need to start listening to the people. Remember, the people are the ones who brought us there now. The people are the ones who said, enough is enough. We are also the people. And because of how our political climate is, we decided as the people to come forward. Now, we don't expect everyone to come forward, but this time around, shocked, a lot of new parties came forward. And a lot of people thought that, you know, I don't think they're going to make it. And we have heard a lot of rumors out there about the new parties being chipped off of some blocks and whatever have you. Now I ask myself, who are the ones instilling those rumors? Are those the ones that are fearing the development that is happening? Are those the ones that think, hey, we have to be careful because we can't be fooling the people anymore because these guys are coming. We are coming. And that is what we have done in the last few weeks, in the last few months. We have gone and spoken to the people. I remember telling you, Mr. Gibbes, that, you know, every opportunity to come and hit the papers, be on social media, you should take. But I remain to say that it is very, very important to start speaking to the people. If you don't know what the people are saying, you cannot be their voice. And a politician in parliament is a direct voice of the people. And as we know it now, from time they go in parliament, that voice breaks.
But gentlemen, you know, there was a study done by Transparency International, right, and it shocked a lot of people. And a lot of people said that was not correct, it was inaccurate in terms of poverty on this island. They had figures upwards of 70-odd%. That is extremely high. Is that a fair assessment of poverty on this island, or people having difficulty making ends meet in a party like you all, or movement that you want to say that's here for the development of the country and its people?
I would like to state something, Mr. Gibbes. I would like to add something to that. It was not too long ago that in Parliament it came out that the middle class line was slowly increasing or diminishing. There was less middle class and more lower class. That's also a direct to that report Because if we are getting more and more poverty, that means that middle class is shrinking. That means the lower class, the poverty line on St. Martin is also increasing or decreasing in this end. So more and more people are struggling on St. Martin. We have spoken to some households, and I'm not going to say if it was in which district it was, but there are certain areas in St. Martin that people live in a real bad state. Trust me, it's the stinge. The children that go to school and don't have breakfast in the morning and only have that one meal or get to eat something from the friends. We have that on St. Martin, and it's all tied to a lot of different things, but the social aspect needs to also be improved in St. Martin. Mr. Gibbes, when I was growing up in St. Peter's on Guinnep Road, as a young boy, if I moved from point A to point B, I had to say hello to at least 10 different neighbors. You were one of them too. And that social aspect is practically gone nowadays. And so the big brother helping you, that auntie that is not really your aunt but your neighbor, you don't have that as much as you have. And these are the social aspect that why poverty is so dominant out there, because there's no longer in the closed doors of the family or that street. People are really hungry and really doing bad. But yet, a lot of other people are doing very well.
Yeah, a lot of people, excuse me, said that what the report of Transparency International said, there was, if not factual or what. But we have reports that we made before, in Netherlands Antilles, and then just before, just after. And we have reports that we made said very clearly that the poverty line, anything below 2,000 guilders, are considered poverty. Now, you have a minimum wage that is below 2,000 guilders. Right. You have the old age pension is below 2,000 guilders. So what's wrong what the report said? All of those people who collecting that is collecting below that amount. If you're collecting anything below that amount, definitely you're on the poverty, you are below the poverty line. It's nothing, I mean, you don't have to be a scientist to know that. But the point is, what have we done to make that situation of those people better?
Correct.
It's not what a report said, what have we done to make it better? We have not done nothing. We have not done nothing. In the last 6 years, since we country, we're not going back. As a SDM, we're not going back before 2010. We're saying since we became St. Martin, since we are responsible for our own house, then we're making judgment about that. What have we done? What have we done to make life for the person who lives in St. Martin better? We have not make nothing about the minimum wage. We have not done nothing about, for years, for the last 20 years, we're talking about the short-term contract. As an ex-member of the Socio-Economic Council, we have made a report about it to amend that particular law. We sent it to in those days, the Prime Minister and the Minister of Social Affairs. I understand that the Minister of Social Affairs now will have it in Parliament in another 2 or 3 weeks, but so much years it took. So much years. And even if you bring it in the next 2 or 3 weeks, this Parliament can't make no decision about it. So it will be a decision that the new Parliament have to take. But it's something that have to be done.
Do you all feel that the short-term or the 6-month contract should be abolished or should be amended to suit our needs more?
You cannot abolish let us be honest and let us be factual. You cannot abolish something as long you have a seasonal economy. You cannot. But if you want to do it, then you have to create an economy that runs through the whole year. Then if Mr. Gibbes have 20 people from working with him from November to June, and our season have to let go 4, but if you have the economy is running good through all the way down, then he won't let go to 4 because he need them, because there's economic development and he have business going on all the time. So you have to just look where the abuse is, and the abuse is on both sides. The abuse is by the employer side, and the abuse also on the employee side. So those things you have to tackle to take care of that.
But I've never heard a politician answer that one so honestly yet.
Because they don't want to say it, but that's the fact. The fact is that.
The status quo must go, Mr. Gibbes. The status quo must go.
Because I've heard some other politicians speaking, and it's like they want it abolished, they want XYZ, you know, it cannot be done.
Mr. Gibbes, I'm going to say this. It is a problem. I could honestly understand at times when, and every time we go speak to certain people in the community, we get the same question, this 6 months contract. But there's two sides from the 6 months contract, as Mr. Bute was saying. The side of the employee and the side of the employer. And both have to be protected. But most importantly, we believe that something should be done for the abuse part of it, as Mr. Bute also said. The abuse part of it needs to be tackled. But there can be incentives also, and that's where I'm saying that we need to look at the whole plan. Because tackling maybe the 6 months contract or not being able to abolish it, but we could give incentives with regards to tax for companies that want to stretch their seasonal period what longer, that to say, okay, within the downtime, you have a different taxation because of your seasonal service. Right. That will give incentives to the employer to stretch that dollar or that guilder. Now, why are we not hearing these things? Because it should be in the benefit, ultimately in the benefit of the people. If we look at certain incentives, we got our tax system. Mr. Bute also mentioned in other programs about the fact that we have a pretty decent living for a lot, but yet only 20% or 22% tax compliance. It doesn't add up. Imagine if we could get from that pyramid, the pyramid of the selected few, but when you turn the pyramid upside down, you get that the selected few have the majority funds. Why are they not contributing more to the coffers of St. Martin? These are things that will add to our platform, that we are adding to our platform. We need to look across the line and where we could go with incentives. Smaller companies, we are promoting entrepreneurship. Everyone should make a business, do this, but only the larger corporations from abroad are getting the so-called tax break. Why are we not coming with so-called tax breaks for smaller companies under the 20 that qualify within a certain criteria? Come with those type of solutions.
Let me ask this, Mr. Ortega. You studied in Holland, right?
Yes, I did, yes.
And you traveled through many small towns in Holland?
Yes, throughout Europe and Africa.
I want to use just an example of Holland alone. You travel to small towns in Holland, and what you see is so many small business. It's amazing.
Yes.
Small business is really the backbone of any economy.
Exactly.
And, you know, it seems like in St. Martin, small business just don't get any respect.
I'm going to tell you one thing, Mr. Gibbes. I too, while studying in Holland and then after working, I had a small business of my own. I was a consultant for a larger firm, and I was allowed to have a small business doing various odd services. And before you go to open that small business, they call it the MKB, Middle Klein Bedrijf, you have to have a certain criteria with regards to your level of education. You have to, they call it the tax Bible. They give you a Bible from the tax department, and you're required to study this, to know this. And then a tax inspector specialist will come across by you, whether by your office or your home, whether it's the daytime or night, to sit and to talk to you. Because what? They want you to be successful. They want to add that value to you as a businessman, contributing to the various tax implementation that they have in Netherlands. Right now, we have the Chamber of Commerce. It's going well. You could open an entrepreneurship or a sole proprietorship, or you could go to an NV or whatever have you. But where's the follow-up from the rest? We need to have that. If that is your backbone of your economy, if they are the ones that are making the TOT and generating that through their commerce that they're doing, we need to improve them. And not just in any program. Too many programs on St. Martin without no consistency.
So you're saying that you want to promote entrepreneurship, but at the same time, you know, I'm going to use Holland again as an example. You can stay in your home on your computer, and you can file your papers for a corporation, or BV, what have you.
Tax.
And then within a few days, you're called to go in and sign everything else right there.
We have so-called,
so difficult.
yes, we have the so-called tax, e-taxing, the e-filing, or online filing, or whatever have you. And that is occurring to me when you think about online filing, you're thinking about going to a website from the tax department, you're thinking about filling in all your information and submitting this and getting immediately a breakdown of where you stand with regards to the tax, or within very short period. E-filing is not downloading the form and filling it in digitally and emailing it, or then having to print it out and bring it to the tax department. There's a whole different, you need to automate the process. By automating the process, you make it easier. The hurdle comes easier also.
I was speaking more about starting up a small business, you know,
Yes.
or business on the whole, how easy it is to do it online, while in St. Martin, that's very, very difficult.
You know that we have created, a couple of years ago, we created the St. Martin Small Business Development, the Small Business Development Foundation. But we created that foundation, and we have done nothing with it. It's a beautiful office standing there in the same street of the police. They have done a lot of work in the past, but they don't have the funds to really help small businesses.
Yeah.
So then we have to carry that foundation, that institution, from the level where it is to a higher level. And we could get these funds here. We could get these money here from the European community. But we're not going, because it seems like in the 6 years, you know, we are afraid to use St. Martin's status and knock on the door of the European community and say, listen, we need this, we need social assistance with this, we need this. We don't even have representation. We're supposed to have representation in Brussels. We don't have it. As if we don't want to put somebody there, permanent there, to look after St. Martin cause for them. I know it costs money, but what we will get out of it is much more, because we have a representation there to look after St. Martin needs. And we're supposed to go, we're supposed to do all of these things there. But we breaking and losing time, not doing nothing. Because we are not doing nothing. Yeah. Because business is not development. It's over 30-something stores already closed on Front Street. And this is a real estate person that works on Front Street told me, and he gave me the right, and he said 37.
And there are more to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're seeing that happening. What are we doing to contrast that epidemic? So we have to stop it as government. Hey, what's happening? Why? If it's overhead is a problem, we have to work on it. And overhead is a problem for businesses. The electricity is extremely high. Doing business in St. Martin is so expensive if you compare it. When people say, you compare to Curacao, where people pay a bunch of taxes and still the product is much cheaper. It's because of the overhead. Because of the overhead.
So you're saying the operational costs is
operational costs. We have not, as Parliament, have not taken a decision up to today to decide, to pass a law, decide what we're going to do with Gibbes, with ratings, with the buyback of people putting solar. If Gibbes have to buy it back in the grid, we're going to put this is what we're going to charge you. Nothing. That's the job as a member of Parliament to do. If you don't want to regulate it, we're going to regulate it. But nobody have decided to regulate. It's like, oh, you do it. No, we are members of Parliament, have to do their job.
Why do you think they've been so slow to act?
It's flabbergasted, because sometimes I think they don't know what to do or why they are sitting there. I don't know.
Well, Mr. Gibbes, I start to laugh because I don't want to go in details of anyone's, but who are the ones benefiting from this? Not having it regulated. As a government-owned company, one of the most important government-owned companies, and as they say in Dutch, is stuurloos. They have no captain on the bridge. They have no pilot. It's like as if it's on autopilot. And we look at the employees of Gibbes. And I'm happy that we have some strong engineers in Gibbes doing their best to keep Gibbes afloat, doing the best that you could have the good lighting and water running. But if you do not have proper management, proper representation, proper leadership, Do you expect them to do everything? It cannot be. Where is our government saying, okay, guys, you need to step up to the plate now. We need to get this solved. We need to come with a strategic plan within Gibbes. We need to make decisions on alternative energy. We need to make a decision in regards to buyback. We need to make decisions with regards to how you're going to invest back in the community. We need to make a decision with regards to the relief that everyone is talking about. We need to make a decision with regards especially to solar. If you look to our northern brothers and sisters, the front side, almost all of the schools have these solar panels on them. And it's a proven fact that the solar not only helps the school because they get cheaper rate electricity, but the entire community around that school. Because the amount of solar panels on that school roof is more than what they need for school. But yet what we hear and what we know for a fact from time that certain individuals in the community that can afford solar right now, private persons, and they put solar on their roof, their GB meter is changed. So they can't, what they call, spin back anymore. But what they're doing, they're just contributing back to, because if they are producing more than they're consuming, they're spinning back. So we don't have nothing that we get back money from that, the buyback. We don't have that here. But that is in the Netherlands. That's within our kingdom. So again, we don't need to invent the wheel.
The standards for the world.
It's there. All we need to take it, dust it off, change it, amend it to work for our needs, but then start something somewhere. We're talking a lot about this. Through political times, you're going to hear this coming back time and time again.
Yeah.
But yet we are six years down the line, and nothing is happening.
So, gentlemen, you all feel that the consumers on St. Martin are not getting their fair share also when you look at government corporations and what they're offering?
Definitely, Mr. Gibbes.
Oh, my experience working when I was in the chamber, Mr. Gibbes, if I would tell you the amount of complaint we get from tourists, from people that purchase things on St. Martin and let to know the quality of the product. We have to pass legislation on that. Have to.
Not only for the tourists, but for the locals.
For the locals. If you are selling refurbished something, it have to be stated. The amount of refurbished goods that sold that is sold on St. Martin is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, people will tell you that they bought a new phone, and I'm just going on the phone now, and then they will find pictures of people, things of people, texts of people.
I fell victim of that, Mr. Gibbes.
Oh. Never read this one before?
And there's a lot. We have to put some stronger consumer laws in place in St. Martin
to protect the consumer.
Because it really is getting out of place. And we're not laws with very strong fines. With strong fines behind it.
Because at the end of the day, Mr. Gibbes, it is you, I, and also Mr. Bute that are contributing to our economy. So why are we not being protected by the ones that they are who's supposed to protect us, the ones that we put there? Work for the people. Work for the people, Mr. Gibbes. And that is the core value that we are saying. We need to start working for the people.
Let me take a call for you, gentlemen. Oral Gibbes Live, you're on caller. Hello. You're on live caller. Hello. There, caller? Hello? Not there. Well, anyway, got a little scared. But got to
hope we're not scaring them.
Exactly. Yeah, so, but I'm shocked. I've never heard this one before, that you go purchase a phone and then you realize it was used before. That's really surprised me.
There are many products. There are many products that reach the refurbished market that whether they are from out of the U.S. or from Europe, that they have been refurbished and they look good as new, and they put a new casing or a new shell around them, and then they've been sent down to island source St. Martin. But we need to ensure this, and sometimes I'm not going to say there's something wrong with a refurbished product, but I need to know that I am purchasing a refurbished product.
Then you have no problem with it.
In some countries, you go when you said, okay, you want a new one or you want a refurbished one, because there's a sticker stating refurbished on it. And you have that choice to pay less or to pay the full price. protection, Mr. Gibbes. That's what we need.
How you feel now? What are, in terms of development? You believe in big projects, etc., or what do you all?
You have to be careful, Mr. Gibbes, when you talk about big projects.
Yeah.
Big projects comes with a lot of problems. If you, I'll give you an example. If you decide to say, I want a 500-room hotel in St. Martin right now, 500 room will mean you need about 300-400 workers, where another year or two them bring their family, so you put pressure on your school system, you're going pressure on you need 300-400 more apartments, GB, water. So you have to be careful when you said you have to really make your analyze your situation and bring the right product for your country. And there's nothing wrong bringing these big projects, but you have to make sure that you put everything in place that you don't have a problem that tomorrow that you have so much extra problem that you cannot handle.
Yes.
And I think we should go also with other countries into the e-commerce, the e-zoning, the e-commerce. We should go into that because that's where the world, where the Singapore and the Panama and all them going to. And we always say St. Martin's is such a very good situated, but we don't make use of it.
But do you think we have the infrastructure when you look at our telephone system and our internet is really now, and I had the leader of the UP party here late last year, he said on this program that when it comes to St. Martin, we are just behind Cuba. That's how bad we are in terms of the internet.
Definite.
And we are a fully developed country, as we like to call ourselves. But yet, there are so many aspects of development that we still need to further develop. It's unbelievable. With regards to the projects, coming back to the project, Mr. Gibbes, it's not that we are against larger projects. I want to say first, I mentioned this a couple of times. In order for us to handle bigger projects, we need to have the resources. And when you say the resources, I don't mean only the funds. I'm talking about the expertise, the know-how, the knowledge to ensure that these projects are successful for the best price. If you do not have the resources, ultimately you end up paying more. You have to bring in more to get more out of it. When you look at projects, Mr. Gibbes, if you look at infrastructure as being one of my backbone expertise, we could want to bring new links and new roads, bridges, tunnels, or whatever to St. Martin. And it might even make St. Martin great again. But we need to realize that our current infrastructure, hard infrastructure, is not being maintained. If we drive down Simpson Bay, Mr. Gibbes, after good rainfall, the lower section before the airport bend, there's puddles. The tourists that we are catering to can't even walk on the side of the road. The residents of Simpson Bay can't even walk to do their groceries. You have to walk all around the block to get from point A to point B if you don't want to walk in the road. At times, the road itself is full of water. And these are things that we're saying we need to start addressing. Maintain rather than expand. We're not against expanding. We're not against larger projects. But what you first and foremost need to do is ensure that what you have is operating to excellence.
Mr. Bute was saying something about e-commerce and everything else, and I think we don't realize how significant it could be for this island and what we can do, but we need to be able to get things working properly, and I think that is where our problem is right now, because I think you're right in that regard what we have, but how are we going to develop it when we have, for example, 2 megabytes for $50, 4 for $80, but you're paying for 4, but you're only getting 2.7 or 3 megabytes. It can't work like that.
Mr. Gibbes, it goes back to the same thing we just said. Who are the legislators?
But the politicians don't want to tackle this. I said, hey, they don't want to
put laws in place that if you're telling me you're giving me 4, you have to give me 4, and not less. If you're giving me 10 and I'm paying you this, then you have to give me 10 and not less. But no one wants to do their job. Instead, no parliamentarian want to do their job. Nobody want to write the laws. I said, one of the things that they could have done, and I always said to the member of parliament, if they drop their salary with 3,000 guilders. 3,000 guilders, each one of them. They have 45,000 guilders space every month that they could find at least 3 legal experts to put in Parliament to help them write laws.
For example.
For example.
For example. You understand, Mr. Gibbes, that when we say...
But you think they want it?
Again, Mr. Gibbes, when we say professionals over politicians, we are saying that if you start a business and your thrive as a business owner, as a new business owner, is to be successful. Parliament is the same. If your business is governing, if your business is working for the people, you want to be successful, why are you not taking all measures and needs in order to be successful, such as that little incentive that you have to give off a little, but then you'll be able to do your job better? If you're saying that the budget of Parliament is not sufficient to have legal advisors to work for either the coalition or for Parliament in general, just to ensure that everything that we do are factual, if you are not able to give that little bit up, then you don't want to be successful. And there are many other things that we find that needs to be curbed in the right direction. Again, maintain our current status by improving our current status. And when we are able to improve, then we could think about expansion. And we could take that also to the hospital, Mr. Gibbes. You want to tell me that all we need and all we're thinking about is one big, nice, beautiful hospital building? I'm not saying that we don't need a hospital building, but I want to hear how we're going to fill it, how we're going to operate it. What are as we call it, the morbidity rates on St. Martin? What are people dying from?
What are your needs?
And based on that, you're going to fill in. Okay, if it's hypertension, if it's sugar or diabetic or whatever have you that people are being thrown out or the mobility rates are high on, then you know where to curb to, you know where to invest to. And it might be that we have to phase our hospital expansion. We need to first come with good plans. We need to have research and facts on the table. We need to stop selling the people a nice, pretty picture. And that's what projects does. Nice, pretty pictures. But in the reality, everyone's talking about the same projects, but nothing is being executed. Camera project, for example, have been on the table for many years. And I'm happy that they launched it. I'm really happy they launched it because it's something that we need. But at the same time, you have to ask a question. Do we have all the legislation in place to be able to put throughout St. Martin cameras? Did we touch base on all the privacy issues and the privacy laws that needs to be addressed that have been mentioned many years ago, but to date, we are not certain that these have been addressed? Have the people been informed of such, but yet we launching? It's very good that we're doing it, because it's showing progress. But progress within political times is just propaganda, because you just want to show the people you're the first one doing it. I want to see true progress. I want to see that we have taken this into consideration. Our following step will be this and that and that, and then our end goal will be then. Give me the end goal. Tell me all the steps you're going to take to ensure that you are successful in that what you're doing.
Okay, 5422170 is our telephone number, 5422170. You have a question or comment for the guests. We have Mr. Bute and Mr. Ortega. And you're taking your call to 5422170. Gentlemen, so you're saying that your party, your movement, if elected to Parliament, will work different than what we have now?
Oh, definitely yes. Definitely yes. You know, what people don't understand that you have an election coming up on the 26th of September, and you have the right to choose 15 members of Parliament who are your legislators, who are supposed to be representing the people of St. Martin and doing the job of legislating laws into Parliament and for the country, and not having these grandstand discussions and these grandstanding in Parliament. And up to now, in 6 years in Parliament, you hardly could see one law or something.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Oral Gibbs Live, you're on caller. Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm calling to commend Mr. Ortega and Mr. Bute. I think they need some encouragement. And when I say that, I mean positive encouragement. I think you guys have a clear vision and a very good understanding of what St. Martin is. Indeed, propaganda coming on TV with nice pictures is really unnecessary. Do it in a time when it's more profound and necessary, and show and explain the people of St. Martin. People of St. Martin really need to wake up. There's a lot of jokers out there, and I'm very, very serious. A lot of jokers. People are not serious about St. Martin. They're serious about the pocket, you know, and true colors will always show. Whenever the motive is wrong, the result is inevitable. It will speak for itself. You guys are onto something. Know that the steps are not easy. Be encouraged. Be faithful to what you're doing. Be committed, and do your best. Be truthful. Yes. Be open. Be transparent, because the time is going to come that, just like how we have 37 businesses now closed down on Front Street or in town, they're going to be more, and it's inevitable, because of I think they have no kind of control on businesses just having their prices and costs of living is so ridiculously expensive, and government, like you mentioned about Gibbes not doing nothing, is a joke. Those things are jokes. You know, I have nowhere to go, and I will see the results of, and the people of St. Martin will see the results of what is to come as these people that making their choices to go in office with the wrong intention. I hope that they be exposed properly, because people are not going to stand by and look at what they're doing and do nothing and say nothing. St. Martin is like a time bomb. If people don't do what they need to do, the price we will all pay. And that is very, 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 very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. And I would like to commend the caller for coming out and speaking out. You know, the fear factor in St. Martin is ever so present. The fear factor, I was once asked, what if you think that so much change is needed and everyone is fed up, why only 6 strong candidates? And I remain to say 6 strong candidates, not only 6 strong candidates, because we are saying that the status quo got to go. We need to start changing the way that we look at each other. We need to start changing the way that we do things in St. Martin. And the only way you're going to change is say you need to stop now. We are going to be the voice of the people, to say we're going to stop now. Work for the people. Do what you are hired to do. If Mr. Gibbes, you're working for a boss, if you do not do your job, what will happen to you? Your boss will fire you. He will put you on suspension. He will write you up. Why are they not being written up? But this time around, Mr. Gibbes, because of 6 persons like us and a lot more out there that are saying enough is enough, the status quo got to go, is why we think that September 26th will come in a different direction, Mr. Gibbes.
Can you give the names of the other 4 persons for people who are not familiar with?
So other than myself and Mr. Bute, we have Miss Rosie Richardson. Miss Rosie Richardson is an educator, a true educator. She has not only a bachelor's, but also a master's, and she is teaching for more than 15 years, I believe, that she's been teaching. So we're talking about someone that knows the education system, not only in the U.S., the Virgin Islands, but also on St. Martin. Other than that, we have, as they call him, Mr. Clean. We have Raymond Matzer. Raymond Matzer is a self-taught specialist. He's a true entrepreneur, and he comes with a lot of passion and a lot of good ideas as to how he likes to call it, to sweep the island clean and to ensure that we could start over with a fresh, sweet St. Martin land. And next to Mr. Matzer, we have Terence Frederick. Terence Frederick was a taxi driver. He has been on the taxi board of the harbor. He has met with cruise executives. He has been an ambassador at times to St. Martin. As we know that the taxi drivers are often looked down upon, but they are the true ambassadors of St. Martin, because when somebody comes here, whether it's in a cruise or a long stay, they are being transported primarily via taxi. So you need to understand your transportation system. You need to understand the deficiencies within your transportation system to be able to upgrade such. And last but definitely not least, we have Mr. James Raleigh Busby, a sports icon. He has gone away He has studied in the Netherlands. He's working. He has taught many of our students to swim. I mean, we can't be more professional than that, Mr. Gibbes. So we are bringing aspects of the most important factors that we say need to be addressed right now: economic development, infrastructure and environment. We have education. We had our transportation system. We have sports and culture. And we have a lot more that we could bring to this table. Good governance is one of those things that we said, enough is enough. You had your time. Mr. Bute said that we ain't looking further than 2010. We could need to still keep an eye there, because you have been there for the more than 20, 25 years for some cases. And in 2016, after being 6 years country, you still asking for a chance. I think your chance is up.
But not that alone, Mr. Gibbes. Not that alone, Mr. Gibbes. You see these members of parliament who are asking the voters to vote them back in government. And then you voters should ask them, you know what? Show me your report card. Show me how you're spending parliament money, how good you're spending parliament money, because this is another issue. They are controlling government. They are questioning government about how government spend their budget. But their budget that they have, no one asks them. So if they really are the representative, will expose and let the public see how they are spending their money, and then we will see how they spend their money.
Good point. Very good point.
Well, I guess that'll be interesting to see what happened there, because when you look at what's happening on St. Martin today, people are still saying that we have to give them a chance. They're still in the learning phase, but it's like, how long are you going to be in the learning phase? That's another issue. And I sense that this evening here with you all, and you all mentioned too, in terms of parliament, and you always hear the complaint that they don't have legal advisors, they don't have people to work along with them. But these are things that need to be addressed now.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Exactly, Mr. Gibbes. And I would like to take the opportunity, Mr. Gibbes, since we kind of touched on the topic of control and within our legislative body. We know that Trias politicas is throughout the world. Trias politicas is the division of the three main powers of any country, nation, or society. It has the legislative side, you have the executive side, and you have the judicial side. Now, we have this thing on St. Martin that others from other countries watch us and say, like, okay, your parliament is talking about his or her minister. How are you going to have a discussion about his or her minister within the concept of Trias politicas? That means the parliament member or coalition controls the minister, which is then actually the executive side of your governing. You have the legislative side, executive side. So are we really talking about balance when a controlling entity controls the other, which the one should have the same power on a different platform? How are you going to explain that? And then what happened with last year when the Gibbes cabinet fell throughout a vote of motion of non-confidence, and then the opportunity that the Gibbes cabinet could say, okay, he's going to use Trias politicas in Article 59, and said, you are not doing your job either, therefore, and then that's not right.
No, I think I'll call for you, Jeff.
Yes.
Oral Gibbes Live, you want to call it? Hello?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, well, my question to the young man is why so many political parties? Because you guys United States has two parties. Why don't you join a party and make a difference? Because let's try to talk with the party, but the fighting is getting thinner and thinner, and being divided, you're not standing strong. So I think that joining parties and making your case would be better than standing out there in the cold and complaining. Because you guys ran last time and didn't get the vote again. Join a party so you can make a difference. Thank you.
Okay. Well, if I understood correctly from the caller, thank you for calling, by the way. Yeah. Why we didn't join an established or existing political party, for the mere fact that we found that we were not being represented by any existing party. And if you find that you are not represented fully, you need to ensure that, and if you want to enter into political career or the political arena, as they call it, to make a difference, you need to go and start something fresh, something new. The mere fact that why we are calling ourselves a movement and not a political party is because we feel that we are being, in a larger sense, misrepresented for many years by the established political parties. And that is the main reason why we said status quo got to go. And not only saying that the political parties need to go, but the manner in which we look upon ourselves and the way how they govern us. So we felt the only true way for us to do so is to enter it as a new, fresh, professional-based, solution-based progressive party. And as far as I know, and trust me, I know none of us, of the 6, have been on any other political slate in the past. So we have not tried this with anyone else. We have been working in individual, behind the scenes for many years, whether within government or as a professional, as Mr. Bute said, and we feel that we too could make a difference for our country, St. Martin, for our country of our children and grandchildren. So that is the main reason why we said SDM needs to get a chance into making a positive change.
We don't have that much time remaining, just about 3 minutes, so I'm going to give it all to both of you.
I would like to say, Mr. Gibbes, thank you for having us on. And my message as we officially now make the second round, so we are officially now going to participate in the election of 26th of September 2016. All of those disgruntled voters who are not happy with the situation, vote for the SDM, and we will give you the representation that you want and need in Parliament.
So you're saying that the current political parties are not providing that representation?
They have not provided for the last 6 years. And if we are not taking away nothing from their voters, we are just asking the voters that are not unhappy, and also the voters because of this situation, don't want to vote or have not been voting. Please give us your confidence and your vote, and you will not be disappointed.
Okay. Mr. Ortega?
Yes, again, I would like to thank you, Mr. Gibbes, for giving us the opportunity on your platform to be able to address the people of St. Martin. I would like to request everyone, if you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, what we have done so far, go to our Facebook page, see our points, our action points, our articles that we have written so far, our list and their background, and our 6 strong candidates that we are presenting to you for the upcoming elections. We have noted that the status quo need to go. And we want to show you how we intend for that status quo to go, how we intend to make Old Sweets in Martinland all clean again, how we intend to fix your problems, how we intend to bring the facts to the table. These are things, Mr. Gibbes, that we think that are important, and we need to move forward with this.
Well, so I want to thank you, much success, and also to you, Mr. Bute.
Thank you.
September 26th is a big day, right?
Big day.
All right, thanks again, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it for now. See you next time. Till then, good night. Take care. Bye.